Kirsten Liebelt. How are you? Good morning. Come on in. It's Tuesday. How are you doing for a Tuesday? I would love to know. Let me know if you're on the replay and where you're coming in from. I always like to know where people are coming in from, like other countries, other states. It's like amazing. It's like the internet. You guys, I don't know if you think about these things, but I do. It's like going live like this, it's only like a decade old. Like this has not been around forever, but doesn't it feel like it's been around forever? It's kind of crazy to think about, isn't it? All right, so if you don't know who I am, my name is Kirsten Liebelt and I live in Minnesota. I was raised by a type 2 insulin dependent dad, Italian, so food was our love language, and he died at 63. And there was a lot of obesity and type 2 diabetes in my Italian family. So I was pretty much raised to believe that it was genetic and that there was nothing you could do about it. So que sera, eat the pasta, eat the bread. But alas, that wasn't true. They did not tell us the truth. So anyway, you know what? I found myself young with symptoms of insulin resistance. Gestational diabetic with my first baby, hypoglycemic with my second, and doing freaking nothing for 30 years. Like, what? I should do something about this. I shouldn't be so hard on myself. I teach you not to be so hard on yourself. But sometimes I just kind of like roll my eyes at my own journey. I'm like, what were you thinking? Like, this is crazy. But, you know, I say this a lot, and I did a phone consult yesterday. And so if you're on, you know who you are. You know who you are. And it just really fires me up because it's like, this is not a terminal diagnosis. This was never meant to be a death sentence. It was never meant to be that. And instead, we were really supposed to be able to like turn this back around. And that's not how this has gone for 40, 50, 60 years. You know, insulin resistance has now become literally an epidemic, and there's no exaggeration on that. There's no drama on that. It's just reality. Like 75% of people have a fatty liver. Good morning, Magda. Good morning. Good to see you. 75% or something crazy like that. And like now it's in our children. And it should be so alarming to us that non-alcoholic, meaning you're not an alcoholic, but you still have fatty liver, even though it used to only be in alcoholics. And now it's in everybody. It's in our children. This should be very alarming. That's not my topic today. My topic today, here we go. So my topic today actually is 3 things that I wish that I would have done sooner to lose my 3 sizes in my 50s, which is what I did. Side note of housekeeping, next Monday, we start our 30th 5-day challenge. It's free, $99. It's in the group, Ditch Insulin Resistance for Women. You need to give your email to get in there. It's our 30th one, you guys, and it's free. And every month we do this so that you have an actual plan. You have an actual strategy to change your health, your weight, your meds, your labs, your everything. You have the ability. So something's going on with my I apologize. Something's going on with my Facebook. So hold on just a second. And so when you have a plan of attack, then you feel like you have, how do I say this? You just feel like you have control over what's going on in your world. And so our 30th one is super duper important. And I don't want you to miss out on that. Number 2 is good morning, sweet lady Patty. Good to see you. California. I love it. My son is right now out in LA. This is his 2nd week out there for work. I think he has to do one more week. So he's been coming back and forth a couple of times. So Jody, good morning. Good to see you, Jody. And so this is the last week of the month. This is the last week of the month. So we are literally 3 days away from the end of the month. So anybody who is on the customer campaign and you don't want to lose your streak to get $75 off, remember 3 months in a row of $150 or more, and you get $75 erased off of your order that 3rd month. You don't have to put in a discount code. You don't have to put in anything. You don't have to buy a specific product. You don't have to, like, literally, they'll do it for you. Don't miss out on your streak. We're towards the end of the month here. But if you've never started that, you get to kind of like steal a little bit because it's the end of the month. So I'm not going to lie. You guys kind of get to like steal the end of that last week, and then you can do October, November, December. And actually within 60 days, you're cashing in already. So I'm just telling you, it's just a mindset thought process. I don't want you to miss out. Do one more month in January and you'll get another $50 off because they're bonusing people. Okay, let's get into our topic today. I just didn't want you to lose out on the housekeeping on the front end for anybody who's paying attention. Good morning, Jan. Praying that you're doing super duper well, healing up very fast. Good morning. Another wonderful day, Susan says. I feel much better. Have a wonderful day. Thank you for helping so many people. Susan, thank you. Thank you. I'm so glad. I'm so glad because now correct me if I'm wrong. You're on the total body reset, right? And you're feeling so much better. This is new to you. So anyway, okay, let's jump into content. Technology. I have a feeling that one of my Facebooks isn't showing, but I don't know. It doesn't matter. We're going to keep going for all the peeps that are on here. Here we go. So you know what? If I could sit down with my 2X self, because remember, gestational diabetic in my 20s. And then, I basically spend my 30s like paying no attention to my health, even though my dad died when I was 30, right on the nose. I'm 30. My kids are 6 years, 3 months, 6 years, 3 years, and 6 months old. And they totally miss out on everything about their Italian grandpa. And I go on and I raise my kids and I feel like I'm doing pretty good, like I'm at least cooking from scratch. And, so I feel like, I'm doing better than boxes and, barcodes and all that stuff. My mom was a home ec teacher. So, we did not have a pantry filled with boxes, but we did have a lot of pasta and a lot of bread and a lot of ice cream. I digress. So I don't pay any attention, but then I'm a 2X when I hit 50 years old and I'm like, okay, good. Susan, she's in week 2 of the total body reset. I'm so glad. I'm so glad. And she says, I feel much better. Yay. Yep. It's amazing how you can get your body to begin to produce a different result. If your body has been producing exhaustion, fatigue, brain fog, bloating, bad sleep, moodiness, like vulnerable bathroom habits, if you know what I mean, you can make your body produce something different. So anyway, I'm glad you're on that journey, Susan. That's very exciting. So if I could sit down then with my 2X self, like right at that 50-year-old mark, this is what I would probably do all over again so that I could speed up my results, right? But I would tell her 3 things that would have changed everything. And I don't know where you're at right now. I don't know in your own journey, but maybe you've tried every plan, every diet, every supplement, and you still feel like your body just won't respond anymore. Is that you? That could very well be you, right? I was there. I was so there. I really believed that this was just like menopause. I thought that it was just because I was getting older. I thought all of those things. And then I came to find out that that was just the wrong lens for me to look at everything through, right? I mean, honestly, it's so liberating to understand that there's something underneath that rock, that one last rock that you hadn't looked under, and it actually has an answer for you. It's so freeing. But back then, you know what? So I turned 50. I'm the poster child of being completely exhausted. I'm bloated. I'm living in stretchy clothes. Who knows about that? Okay, so I do have yoga pants on today, but that's just because I want to go and hit the gym. But living in stretchy clothes because you just can't handle, the fact that your body composition is changing or your size is changing. Blaming my age, you're just getting older. That's what happens when your metabolism, blah, 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 right? This is what we do, right? But I didn't understand that my body, it was never broken to begin with. It was not broken, and neither is yours. It just was insulin resistant, and nobody ever talked about insulin resistance, and that terminology wasn't even available. Maybe it was, but it wasn't mainstream. Okay, put it that way. But nobody talks about what's really happening underneath. It's like, so being fatigued and having massive cravings and having a lot of brain fog in your body, that belly fat that's super stubborn. You can't seem to move it no matter what, right? But that's where everything started for me. And I feel like that's a picture that is common to so many of you, right? So the first thing that I would have done is I wish that I would have stopped trying to eat less and start learning how to fuel myself better. Now, I'm not saying that calories don't play a part. It's just that that's a one-dimensional conversation. And it was never meant to just be, this whole thing is so not one-dimensional. This is a multifaceted conversation. And that's why we feel, you and I collectively feel so unheard. We feel like nobody's listening to us because we can feel the multifaceted universe that's inside of us, but we don't know how to describe it. And we don't know how it's actually affecting our inability to lose fat or our inability to get off meds or whatever it is, or to stop being moody, like so moody. We don't know how to stop that, right? And remember, I talked to you about watching a reel where there was a doctor who, she was brand new to the practice, and she went in and she talked, this is recent that I saw the reel. And she went in, she had a female patient, and she was talking to her, and she was like, she came back and she was talking to the other doctors, like in the break room or whatever. I'm being super liberal with because I don't remember all of her details. But she went back and she was talking to them, and they're like, oh, you have a WW. And she's like, what's that? And they said, that's a whiny woman. She's like, oh, so I mean, she felt really like kind of jarred at that point, like, this is how we're labeling this situation. So this is a part of why, not 100%. So I'm not trying to throw everybody under the bus, but I just want you to know, like, you're not crazy. You're not crazy. Your body is not broken. You are actually sensing and assessing things. And it's really important for you to recognize that you assessed your 13-year-old body when you were getting your period. 12, 13, 16, whatever. You were assessing everything because you were like, oh my gosh, what's going on, right? And you were really paying attention. And somewhere down the road, we just stopped paying attention, and we hand over that to a medical system that's not paying attention for us. Has that ever dawned on you? We've handed over our personal assessment to a system that's not paying attention for us. Okay. So I wish that I would have stopped just being like, okay, well, it's only about a calorie deficit. That's all there is. It's just one dimension to have this conversation about. But under eating and skipping meals literally just kept me stuck. That wasn't the answer. It was their answer, but it wasn't the proper answer. So they're giving answers, I don't know, for somebody else's body, just not for mine. But I had to recognize that, and I wish I would have recognized that sooner. So therefore, I wish I would have prioritized like protein better, proteins that didn't spike my sugars, not protein from grain, not protein from legumes, but instead protein from meat and eggs, where it's not going to spike my sugars and call on insulin, et cetera, right? So starting out my day like this morning, I had 2 eggs and I had a piece of, actually it was, what's that called? Hold on, I'll have to think about it. You know where you mallet a little piece of beef? What's that called? Cube steak? Cube steak, where they take round steak and they do that to it. I'm so official. I'm like a butcher. Close your eyes, you'll think I'm a butcher. You know what I mean, though. But we'll see, we have our beef, like we buy a half a beef, whatever, we put it in the freezer. And I had them take the round steak and cube it. So I took a piece of beef and a couple of eggs, and that was my breakfast. So now I have a bunch of protein in me. It won't spike my sugars. My insulin is not going to spike. And what I now know is that when your insulin is high and your liver is sluggish, you can't burn fat. So I don't want to be doing that. Okay. So the first thing is that I would have stop trying just to eat less. This is number 1. Stop trying to just eat less and learn how to fuel myself, because under eating and skipping meals was not the way for me. They tenderize it. Thank you. Yes, they tenderize it. Yep. And Susan, they tell you to eat less and move more. You know what? They literally turned insurance ads. They have given slogans to insurance companies that say eat less, move more. Like the indoctrination is heavy, and you have to, it takes a minute, right? So hold on, I'm going to read a couple of. Jody says she made her first egg white bread on Saturday and pudding on Sunday. Jody, Way to go. That is totally awesome. Patty says my live went off. Is it back on, Patty? I don't know, I guess. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what's going on today. We have some technical difficulties, I think. Anyway, and so that is super frustrating that they just tell us things that don't really give us answers in that way. So number 2, I wish that I would have understood. And even though I was at the beginning stages of doing some research and reading with Maria Emmerich and some of her information, I wish I would have understood what I tell you guys every single day. Who's in the house? Cheryl. Good morning. Hey, Cheryl, did you jump over to TikTok because Facebook Live went out? I would love to know. Or are you just on TikTok because that's where you want to be? I'd love to know. Thank you so much, Cheryl, for the heart. I appreciate you very, very much. So what I talk to you about all the time is liver, gut, and insulin, right? So I wish that I would have paid attention to my liver and my gut sooner. I could have expedited this. And I do know this now. And I tell you that, those of you that are on the Total Body Reset, you have such an advantage. You're able to expedite what you are doing. You're able to accelerate it. And number 1, they weren't really available to me. But number 2, I didn't have the mindset yet, because I didn't understand that a sluggish liver will completely hold you back from burning fat. I didn't know. I didn't know that it was my fat metabolizing organ. I didn't know that. And so now that I understand the inner workings a little bit better, even if I had not understood yet, but I just knew to prioritize liver and gut, that would have set me up so much better. I wish that I would have gone back. If I could go back and talk to my 2X self, I would say, listen, you're going to want to pay attention to your liver and your gut. So if you could get on that right now, that'd be really good. Just to let you know, you can compress your time and not take so long. You don't have to be a turtle. I was a turtle, but that's okay, because now that, however you get to your journey is how you get to your journey. However you get to your result, I should say. However your journey looks, listen, it's your own story. You get to have your own story. It's the same thing with me building a business. Does it take long? Did it take longer than I wanted it to? Yep. Does it, whatever, because nothing is linear. Your weight loss is not linear. Building a business is not linear. It does this, right? You do, because you've got learning curves. You're learning stuff. You're applying stuff. You're executing stuff. You're bumping up against your own self-sabotage. You're bumping up against your own, lack of discipline, because you're learning, and there's nothing wrong with that. Like, embrace the learning process. You're alive to actually learn. Aging is a privilege. So if it takes you 3 years, if it takes you 5 years, if it takes you 10 years, it's okay, because you're here to do it and somebody else isn't. So you always have to remember that. Always, always, always. Facebook is back to your live. Thank you, Patty. I just don't know what's going on over there. I don't know what's going on. Facebook. I think it's a StreamYard Facebook connection. I think it's my software and Facebook talking to each other. I think that's what's going on. So that's number 2. I wish that I would have supported in my gut and my liver from the very beginning, because your body cannot burn fat if detox and digestion are not working. You just can't. So supporting my liver changed my energy. It literally changed my waistline. It changed my skin, because that's what your liver is doing for your body, right? So I wish that I would have targeted insulin resistance itself and not just weight loss. That's the conversation that we have every day, right? And shifting my goal from losing pounds to lowering insulin was actually the real turning point for my own body. Okay. So number 3, the good news is that, that was number 3. I apologize. Number 3 was the insulin resistance, and not instead of weight loss. And that the reason why that is so imperative for your universe is because if we continue to chase the same things that we've been chasing, whether it's the system that you plugged yourself into might be a system of counting points, but it's not having the conversation about insulin resistance. Or it might be targeting, calories only, meaning if you eat this bar for this many calories and then this package for this many calories, and then you do this for this many calories, you're going to get a certain result. And you've plugged yourself into that system, but the underlying conversation isn't insulin resistance. You're either going to lose weight and gain it right back again, or you're going to have a hard time moving that needle because that insulin resistance is strong. It's a hormonal conversation. And you know what it's like when you have a hormonal up, if you're hormonally upside down, it feels mountainous to turn it right side back up again. It feels really challenging to do that because the river of hormones is just like, whoa, you feel like you're stuck in that river. You're stuck in that current. And so it feels like it's a lot. But once you recognize that insulin is a hormone and you stop chasing the weight loss and you start chasing getting your insulin down and getting your liver function up, I'm telling you that will change so much for you. So just to recap what I just said so that you have it clear. Number one, I wish that I would have stopped just thinking that it was a one-dimensional conversation of eating less and moving more. I wish that I would have not been thinking that calorie deficit alone was going to get me there, because that's why I was treating myself with sweet potato fries. That's why I was treating myself with, whatever, eating a lot of medjool dates because they were natural sugar. And I wasn't having the proper conversation for my body to respond. So it wasn't just about calories. It's a role, but that's not the main. Insulin is. But number two, I would have done my liver and gut long before, because then I could have gotten my body moving and getting that impacted waste out, getting the toxins down. Your liver literally governs your hormones. Insulin is a hormone, governs the glucose in your blood. It governs everything. It's your fat metabolizing organ. I wish I would have paid attention to that way sooner if I was going back and talking to me at a 2x in size when I turned 50. And then the last thing is, I wish that I would have targeted insulin resistance specifically, meaning that had I had that thought, like for my supplementation, for my food, for my mindset, I would have so much less been like, it's literally what made it so that I was able to, if I was going to, let's have this conversation really quick. If I was going to cheat, okay, let's use that term, cheat. But I didn't understand insulin resistance at all. And I thought that it was only about calories, or I thought it was only, so therefore all the food is on the table. It doesn't matter what it is, as long as maybe it's low calorie or whatever. That cheat then opens you up to anything and everything. So therefore you could cheat with butter covered theater popcorn and milk duds, because it didn't matter, right? It was a cheat and it was all equal. But when I started to see everything through the lens of insulin resistance, and I was like, okay, screw this. I'm going to stop having every supplement under the sun in my cupboard. I'm instead going to target my supplementation. I want it specifically to help me to go from insulin resistant to insulin sensitive. And when it comes to my food, if I'm going to cheat and let's say, have more calories or more fat or whatever, I'm going to do it within my plan, because at the very least then, if I'm eating for an emotional reason, like if I'm eating because, we eat because we're bored, because we're stressed, because we're tired, because we're in a social setting and we equate socializing with eating or snacking, you're grazing on something while you're chatting, right? Whatever the reason is, those reasons don't matter, but what you're ingesting in that moment, you can't fix that in the moment, right? Like if you're stressed and you're eating because you're stressed, maybe you can't fix that immediately, and you're going to, or you're working on it or whatever, but you don't have to go over the freaking cliff. You don't have to be like, well, I'm going to cheat anyway. Might as well go get that Dairy Queen Blizzard. I mean, do you understand? Because if you're not viewing things through the lens of insulin resistance, then it's all the same and none of it matters. Nothing's dissected out. But instead, you could be like, okay, so Call, I really want ice cream so bad. Okay, so I'm going to go to the grocery store and I'm actually going to spend $7 and I'm going to get a pint of that Rebel ice cream. That's what I'm going to do. So it's low in sugar spiking, but it's still pretty high in calories. But okay, whatever. So you're going to cheat within your plan. Does that make sense? Like, I'm not going to eat a pint of Rebel ice cream every single day and expect my body to lose fat. I'm just telling you, like, because if you overeat, you overeat. And if you overeat high fat, like, it's hard to lose fat if you're overeating fat all the time. This is why the confusion is so high around keto. This is why there's so much confusion, because high fat keto was created for epilepsy, not for fat loss. Got it? It's created for epilepsy, brain issues. That's a whole nother conversation that should make us go, oh, interesting. We should probably be eating really good high fats if we need brain health. But anyway, okay. Dementia. I wonder what happens when we stop taking in fat and we live fat free. Wonder if our brain actually needed any of that fat. I don't know. Is it just me? Maybe it's just me having these conversations inside of my head. But that's another conversation. But my point being that because when I finally did go, oh, this is about insulin resistance, I have to keep my insulin down, which means I'm going to stop spiking my sugars. Then when I'm going to, live my life inside of circumstances or inside of situations or social settings or whatever, I'm just going to make a better choice of a cheat, if that makes any sense. You're going to have to let me know if that resonates with you or if that makes sense. I feel like I'm trying to find my words better and better as I go to get people to understand the difference between I'm literally going to throw it all to the wind and I'm going to go ham, I'm going to go ham on, I'm going to eat every sugar pecan pie I can get my face into. I'm going to eat literally every Easter. That was always my favorite holiday for candy. It was going to be, that was the day that you were going to binge on Cadbury mini eggs. Well, understanding the insulin conversation around that, once I got that in my brain, I went, oh, okay, well, that's, even though those are really great, like, I just need to have a different option. Doesn't mean that I can't have, sweetness, goodness. I'm just going to make sure that I'm doing it in a different way. What does that look like for me? I'll just give you one example and then we're going to move on. That would mean for me that if I'm going to go to a movie and instead of eating Milk Duds, which would be my go-to, chocolate and caramel, I'm sorry, but what's not to love about chocolate and caramel? And then you eat them at the same time as popcorn. That was my go-to. I'm going to go and I'm going to stop at Walmart on my way to the movie theater and I'm going to grab a Lily's bar. And I'm going to keep that in my purse. And I'm going to have some Lily's chocolate while I'm in that, because it tastes amazing. Or I've even had a Lily's bar in my purse and I've gone to, we go to, every now and then we do, we will have incentive, we can win things in our business team. And so you can either earn it by being top producer or you can, win it by a drawing or whatever. And we've gone to, in Minnesota, we have a dinner theater. And so we've gone there, and at the dinner theater, you're going to have an amazing dinner and the most gorgeous desserts. Well, inside of my purse goes my Lily's bar. So that's just an example of thinking ahead and realizing that insulin is the conversation, not the calories in that moment. I hope that makes sense to you. So hold on. I want to see who I'm going to say hi to. And then we're going to talk about the total body reset and wrap up. Makes sense. Just got on here a few minutes ago. Thank you, Barb. Meg says it makes sense. Definitely not just you, says Alonia. I know. Thank you. Yes. Oh my gosh. Good morning, Meg. Good to see you. Woohoo. Good to see you. And then Patty says, if I cheat, I have a piece of sourdough toast with my eggs on Sunday. So you take the carb blocker. That's a different level of cheating. Yes. But that's where carb blocker does come in. But also too, Patty, now look at your results. So you've lost 14 pounds, you've lost 10 inches. You are moving in the direction. When you are moving in the direction and you start to assess your own world on this, then that is exactly what you can do. I had carb blocker in my pockets for years. Now, if I had carb blocker in my pockets for years and I never moved forward, I probably needed to stop taking carb blocker and lying to myself, right? That's what I would have had to have assessed that for myself. But That's not what she's been doing. In the last 5 months, she's lost 14 pounds. She's lost 10 inches. She's moving in the direction. So could I have gone faster? Yeah, I could have gone faster, especially had I just known some of the things that I teach you. I just didn't know it. I had to go do the journey to come here and teach it to you. I had to go walk it, and now I can teach it. And now you guys get the results and you send me in all your testimonies. And so we have a party together. We celebrate together. But having said that, like I said, I don't regret my journey. I just know that I could have expedited it, and so can you. So the total body reset that I talk about every day, and I really want to make sure that today you realize we have 3 days left in the month. So if you're wanting to take advantage of the customer campaign where when you purchase 150 3 months in a row, you get $75 off that third order. This is the way that you can get paid to choose a wellness journey, to choose a little bit of consistency. You know, if Patty's been doing this for 5 months, do you think that Patty's going to like stop knowing that she's not where she wants to go yet? This is not, insulin resistance is something you turn around. Kind of like when I've talked about my ship before, like when we went to Alaska and you go into Glacier Bay and that ship has to turn around on a dime so that it can exit. And it does it very slowly sometimes. Some people's ships are slow. Mine was maybe a little slower. Probably from my own decisions, but probably too from where I was. I spent 30 years doing nothing. That's a longer time than somebody else. So my ship was a little slow, but it's okay. I'm okay with that. I'm still on my journey and still making strides all the time, loving results, right? So the total body reset, when I started, I did not have what you guys have available to you at all. So the total body reset are 6 different products. I even did a consult with somebody yesterday where she ended up getting 3 of them, but we got on the phone and we discussed what 3 she wanted. So I'll show you the 6 and then just understand I can customize a cart for you. I can help you make the decision according to where you are in your own journey. Some of you are already, taking other supplementations from different areas. And so maybe you don't need all 6, but maybe some of you are like, dang, I just need to get on a program, and you want all of it. Everybody's different. So the first piece is that I started with these 3. These are 3 sups that have 3 ingredients that help with insulin sensitivity. This is where I started a little over 10 years ago. And the reason why these are different than your regular sups that are in your cupboard, your D, your omega, even though I do all of those, it's different than your C and your whatever. Those are the regular ones that you're taking. These are very specific and targeted, okay? So this is insulin and sugars. This one is liver, and this one is metabolism, okay? So that's the trio all by itself. I'm going to set that down, and now I'm going to just tell you about, Joan says she does need to do better with cheat decisions. I get it, Joan. I understand. The second piece I'm going to show you is for your gut. So this is a primer and a probiotic. So inside of the primer, there are 6 different blends. Very comprehensive gastrointestinal primer. Probably different than anything you've ever taken before. Most of you have never taken a primer. You've maybe had a greens product, but like you put in a smoothie, but not a primer like this, where you have your post and your pre and your postbiotics, your digestive enzymes. The greens are not regular, they're fermented. Everything's off of organic farming. Your liver will like kiss you, will rise up and love you and say thank you. Things like that. But what that really helps with is like all of that bloat that you're dealing with. And this is a completely different way. When you start to heal and seal your gut, when you start to support that, and you start to take care of that leaky gut that's leaking all the nutrients out, your cravings get better. Your hunger gets better because I'm dealing right now with an elderly cat. And I can tell she has something going on with her gut because she's losing weight. Now she's very elderly and she'll probably go to heaven pretty soon. But my point being, she, I can tell she's not absorbing. So her body is just it's not firing the way that it's supposed to fire. So having a gut primer changes so much. No gallbladder, diarrhea, constipation, indigestion, brain fog, you're not sleeping well, you're bloated, you barely eat anything and you feel like you're pregnant and it happens so quickly and you don't know, you can't put your finger on it. You're like, what is it? What is it that I'm eating? I can't quite figure it out. That's just because you need to recalibrate your gut. So you do it with a primer and a probiotic. 5 strains, you put them on your tongue. This I just put in water, drink it like a wellness shot. This you put on your tongue, it's a powder. The strains are alive. So that's the trio were 3. This is 4. This is 5. This is 6. Okay. And this is the fat burner. This is the one that, if you're looking to target the visceral fat that's been created by insulin resistance, this is where the MRI of fatty liver got better. This is where people send me their in-body scans and their visceral fat is reducing considerably, because if you're wanting to change your BMI, you're wanting to change the fat that's being laid down because of insulin resistance. And so therefore what happens is on the inside, all the goodness is happening on the inside and you don't even understand how good it is, but maybe your labs are showing the results, or you are measuring and you see underneath your bust, your waist and your hips are changing in size. So like Magda, over a year of doing the total body reset, she did 6 inches from under her bust right here, 5 inches were gone from her waist, 3 inches from her hips. So there's this compounding effect when you're doing that. So that is literally what the total body reset is. 6 sups, and I'm not going to say the whole word because I keep getting flagged by Tickety Talk. I just dropped one. So 6 sups, there's a powder you put in water, a powder you put on your tongue, a powder you put on your tongue, 2 tablets and a capsule. That is where so many of you are having such dynamic, expedited effects. And it's very, very helpful. Very, very happy for my heart. Marilyn, good morning from New York. You had a yummy ham, egg, and cheese sandwich on your flatbread toast. And her flatbread toast was made from the egg white protein bread recipe. I loved that you posted that in the group, Marilyn. I feel like that helps other people to understand that you can turn that into so many things. Good for you. I'm so proud of you. I'm so, so proud of you. So good. The supplement action has helped with mood and cravings. It's so exciting, she says. Isn't it exciting, Marilyn? When you finally find something, like, instead of just, I could come at you and I could be like, I have this, oh God, I just keep dropping. So I'm going to set these down. I have this system and it's all so pretty. And here's a bow and here's a bell and here's a yada, yada. And I could just market to you in colors and in phrases and in whatever. That's literally just not what we're doing here. And the reason why is because all that I've done is I've taken what I implemented for myself. I started locally. They just restricted and I have no idea. I started locally, and I basically was able to just help some people locally they were actually type 2. And they were like really mad that some of this information that was seemingly basic had never been given to them before. And then I had to work up my own courage to go live and talk to strangers just like you. But now you guys become my friends. And so you guys are like literally from everywhere, Canada and New York and Florida and California and Ohio and Tennessee. I mean, I just have friends from everywhere. And it has been such a great journey because now you guys get to enjoy the same results and actually better and faster results than I ever did. Marilyn says, by the way, my CGM is in range 98% of the time. This is fabulous, she says. Marilyn, that's fantastic. Those are the things that make me so happy. Do you not understand? When you can get your life under control like this, do you understand how much damage she's avoiding? High blood sugar is super damaging. It's just like shrapnel in your body. It's so bad. So 98% of the time you're in range, according to your CGM. That makes me so happy. makes me so happy. Okay, so we're going to wrap up with this Monday. Don't forget, we have the 30th 5-day free challenge in the group, Ditch Insulin Resistance for Women. Give your email to get in there. We'll do that. You don't have to sign up for anything. You just get to show up. I'll go live every day at 3 p.m. Central Standard Time. That will give you ingredient trade outs and pantry and refrigerator help. Deep dive into supplementation, a recipe. We'll do all of it, okay? There's only 3 days left in the month of October. So if you are already on your streak of customer campaign, you want to get your $75 off, get your order in so you don't miss it and wake up on Saturday morning and go, oh, I forgot. I was going to and I forgot. Or if you haven't started your campaign yet and you want to start, like, you know that sometimes maybe December is a little, you know, like, gosh, wouldn't that be great to get $75 off in December? Gosh, wouldn't that be great to get $50 off in January also as an add-on? Those type of things, just let me know. But if you're like, lady, I don't even want to talk to you. I don't want a customized cart. I just don't want to talk to you. I just want to know where to get what you're talking about. And she says, yay, I'll see you there. You're the best. Oh, Marilyn, you're so encouraging. I just love you. My site is my first name and my last name without a space in between, kirstenliebelt.com. You can see it actually, oopsie, right here for Facebook and YouTube. You can see it right here. And there is a free protein guide on there for you. But you'll see my page. I'm actually probably going to change some of this today, but that's okay. The top 4 right here, this 4th one is the total body reset that we just talked about. Then you're going to see a couple of other things. You'll see my before and after picture, and here's some free resources for you right there. Like free protein blueprint, free the bread recipe that Jody made, and free sugar-free chocolate pudding, those types of things. And then all my contact information is at the bottom. So everything is there for you. Just don't sign out as a guest if you want to get free shipping. Don't sign out as a guest if you want to take advantage of the customer campaign. Okay, I have people sign out as a guest all the time. That's your choice. You can do it. You just are missing out on a couple of things. And I always feel very highly responsible to make sure that somebody has told you that you could be foregoing a customer campaign of getting cash back. So that's my responsibility for you today. So anyway, okay, so that's the total body reset. I really do hope that there is at least one of you today, and it's usually more, but I hope there's at least one of you that will say, I am going to do this holiday season differently. I am going to make sure that I prioritize me. And it might not be perfect, but there is going to be progress no matter what. And get yourself set up now before November 1st. Start now. You can be only 2 weeks into the total body reset and be telling me about how much better you're already feeling and how your bloat is already just disappearing and feeling good before you hit the family pictures, before you hit the social events, and maybe you're standing in a corner and you're kind of covering yourself up, or you're putting a pillow on your lap, and all of those things. You can navigate the holidays differently, and it feels really good when you do. So, all right. Have the best day ever on the face of the planet, Tuesday, people. And I will see you tomorrow at 11 a.m. Central Standard Time. And if you need anything, reach out. Reach out in my messenger, my DMs, etc. And I'd love to chat with you. So I'll see you.